If you asked me what's the most difficult game in Mega Man's classic series, I'd have to say Mega Man and Bass. It's a sort of obscure title, and Capcom made it with the express goal of being stupid dummy hard. It's got some seriously unforgiving levels, tougher bosses with never-before-seen mechanics, and some of the worst checkpoints ever put in a Mega Man game. But the real nightmare is if you want to full clear the game, you have to collect 100 CDs scattered throughout the levels. They contain little lore fun facts for the different characters in the series, and you don't actually get anything for collecting them all, but that didn't stop Capcom from making them super cringe to find. That's exactly what we're gonna do! And to make the challenge even harder, we'll be playing the GBA version, which has a smaller screen making certain obstacles harder to see, and less buttons for your different abilities. But it's the only official English release of the game, and if we're doing this for the lore, then we want to make sure we can actually read it. I stream this challenge right here on YouTube, so if you want to watch the full VOD, you can click here. But with all that out of the way, let's get started. And it all starts with the character select. Mega Man is the same as any other game, but Bass can dash, double jump, and freaking fly. We have to beat the game as both characters for this challenge, but Bass's playthrough is easier, so we'll start with him. The intro stage isn't too bad. It gives us a chance to get used to the controls as Bass, especially how we have to double tap to dash on the GBA. There are no CDs here, so after meeting King and watching Proto Man die and shooting grapes at the easiest devil fight in the series, it's on to the stage select. And our route starts with Cold Man. And our first CD is right here on the first screen. We just can't get it because you need a special weapon to break this block. For our real first CD, we need to walk right past this screen to find a hidden room. This CD looks ridiculous to grab in any other game, but Bass can do it with just a little double jump. Unfortunately for each CD you can get, there's always another you can't. Some scary platforming for another one, and oop, that one's for Mega Man. Even though Bass's dash is faster and better for getting through the levels, Mega Man's been sliding ever since the third game, and they just can't take that away from him. Even after fighting Budget Frost Man, there's another sliding path we just can't take. All that's left to do is fall down the secret underwater section to get this CD, and that's the last CD we get from Cold Man for now. How many is that? 3? I'm no mathematician, but that's only 3% of the CDs. Kind of a bad start, but we just gotta trust the process. Speaking of process, that's the best way of describing the fight with Cold Man. A process. A long, grueling process. Since bosses get iframes whenever you shoot them, it doesn't matter how fast Bass fires his grapes. We just have to patiently wait for his health to go down. That being said, this is one of the easiest bosses in the run, so I guess I shouldn't complain. Now, before we go to another stage, we need to take a quick look at the shop. You see, this is the first game where enemies started dropping screws when you beat them, and Auto can turn those screws into upgrades. We're gonna need to get all of these to truly 100% the game, so that means later we're gonna have to do some farming. But for now, we just need this guy, the humble spike guard for 10 screws. Then it's off to Burner Man stage. While Cold Man had a bunch of scary platforming in your path, Burner Man stage has a bunch of monkeys in your path. They take a million shots to kill or a single cold wall, just gotta save enough cold wall for later in the stage. And just like the previous stage, there's a hidden room to the right of a regular room, with a CD guarded by just the tankiest rhinoceros you've ever seen. But once again, Bass can double jump past any obstacle. Like, look at this, oh no, fake floor, boom, double jump. And then, oh, wait, it's an obstacle we can't double jump past! This is where Spike Guard comes in. It's a single-use item that stops us from dying to spikes. And this won't be the last time we need it for a CD. Not only that, but there's another hidden path to the left with more spikes. Ice Wall has the extra perk of letting you ride on it to safety, letting us grab one more CD. Then we can ride it back and, oh, right. Can I ride it again? No. Can Bass double jump? Ah! There are some other things Bass struggles with, like these spears you're able to slide under, but he can't slide. And this rhino you can slide under, but he can't slide. That being said, there's always a CD that's easier for Bass to get, like this one. And after burning a forest to the ground, we have to fight Burner Man. This one's tough because you have to spawn Ice Wall and push him into the spikes with it. But if he's dashing or diving, he'll just break the wall. You also have to follow the wall off screen or it'll despawn. This is definitely one of the toughest robot masters in the series, but unfortunately, not the toughest one in this game. So for now, we find the timing to sunlock him, and we're up to 9 CDs. Next up is Pirate Man. We got ourselves a water level. We just gotta jump over this first segment to get a CD. And there's another one on this screen, but look closely. You can barely see that enemy above you on the ladder. This isn't me cropping the video, this is just how the game looks on the GBA. We walk around for this CD, but this this one over here is also barely noticeable. And then this screen is the worst offender. We need to ride these bubbles on the bottom of the screen to the top left and right corners to get a CD. But if you run into a spike, it'll pop your bubble. And if you fall into a spike, it'll pop your life. So it takes a little bit of practice remembering the layout of everything, but we can use Wave Burner and Ice Wall to make our life a little easier. Now it's time to fight Pirate Man. Luckily, this fight is one of the easiest. We just spam the green flamethrower and he's harmless. Okay, so now that we've cleared 3 bosses, we have access to the bonus stage. It's kinda like a big weapons obstacle course where you can solve a puzzle with your weapons to get 100 bolts each. And then we can use those 300 bolts in Otto's shop, which also just got a brand new row of items to purchase. The most important being Treble Boost, which lets Bass freaking fly. We also grabbed the HSD. What does HSD stand for, chat? Huge skill diff, huh? High-speed drugs. Huge schlong disorder. High-speed dash. Oh yeah, probably. And we also need one more spike guard before heading to Ground Man stage. There's 2 CDs on this super tall screen. And then after getting past some centipedes, there's a scary one next to some spikes. This isn't the CD we need spike guard for, so we have to be really careful not to waste it. We got a super tanky caterpillar boss and a ginormous empty room, but it's important we take the stairs down to find a CD locked behind this burner block. And then we make it to the scary death trap puzzle room. Every time we break a totem, the spike wall moves closer to killing us. But if we break the red totem, it opens a door. However, in this first room, we want to break this hidden totem to go down to another secret path, which gives us a 1-up and 2 CDs. But rather than go through this door to hit another checkpoint, we want to put that 1-up we got to good use and die to worms, setting us back so we can redo the puzzle room. Because on the second screen, we finally have to use our spike guard to get this CD. Now the funny thing is in the immediate next room over, there's another CD that requires another spike guard to get. And since he can only carry one at a time, we're gonna have to revisit the stage later as Mega Man to get it. But for now, there's one more CD to get as Bass, and it's completely invisible because of the GBA screen crunch. Just ice wall and double jump up and we grab it just fine. Now we can leave and push this level to the back of our mind, because when we do come back, we'll have to face the worst, most horrible, absolutely dog water challenge of the whole run. But for now, it's okay. That's for later me to worry about. Right now, it's time for Ground Man. He's weak to remote mine, but he has a couple of attacks with iframes he can use to dodge it. But once we figure out the pattern and he's done trying to drill half the screen, it's not too bad. Next up is Tang Man. For those of you who haven't played this game but have played Mega Man 8 in the Legacy Collection, yeah, this game reused the boss. But the level's completely different. It's worse. It's just worse. Our first CD is free, and then we have to do some really scary platforming. At least there's a respawning 1-up for whenever you fall, or get spiked, or get grabbed by Cloud Man. And then this CD is just mean. We need to jump on this platform and then jump up again while holding up to grab the ladder and climb to the hidden screen. And if you thought the screen crunch was bad there, it's even worse in this next room. Treble Boost makes it a little safer, and there's a handful of CDs in this room, but for now we just want these 2. And then we take this top right path out. We get a free CD here, and then just a little more treble boosting for this one. Now that the hell platforming is done, we get to blast our way through 2 more CDs and make it to Tang Man. This boss is way harder than his Mega Man 8 version, but somehow easier if you have his weakness, which we do. Now that we've collected over 20 CDs, Dr. Light isn't mad, he's sad. Maybe he just needs a trip to Disneyland. Magic Man stage expects you to do this scary death train pit platforming stuff right off the bat, but Bass can jump right over it. And they expect you to fight Freddy Fazbear, but Bass can dash right past him. What Bass can't avoid is flying around to get this CD. And then I think there's a CD up here, but holy crap, dude, I can't see anything on the GBA. There it is. There's this goofy-ass train station we gotta deal with, but luckily Bass can treble boost right over it. And then there's this goofy-ass spike block platforming segment, but Bass can treble boost right over it. But what we gotta make sure we do is grab the CD that's hidden in here. No indicator, no nothing, you just gotta open your ears for the sound cue to know you got it. And now it's time for Magic Man. This fight is really rough. He's the first boss in the series that can heal himself, so we gotta make sure to dodge his magic card after each time we attack him with Tengu Blade. It's close, but we got it. Hey, that did the trick! Dr. Light's happy! And I'm happy because now that we've cleared 6 bosses, the shop updates again. We do some more bonus stage so we can afford the energy saver, which makes special weapons cost less. And I'd like to get the super armor for upcoming boss fights because it makes us take half damage. And we're gonna need it. But we don't need it right now. I'll instead grab a Buster upgrade for more damage. The hyperspeed dash and treble boost from before are things we got as permanent upgrades, but these new ones can only have one equipped at a time. So although we want every upgrade to 100% the game, we only ever get to use one of them. Well anyway, Tang Man wasn't the only reused boss from Mega Man 8. Next is Astro Man. Our first CD is easy to grab as base, but getting out is a little... I should have just used treble boost. Same thing here. And then these blocks need to be hit with fire, but also the hitbox is a little finicky. Okay, there we go. And this is actually where we'll go to farm bolts later, but God, don't make me deal with it now, please. Then after a quick game of Simon Says, like really quick, it's 3 buttons. There's 2 CDs on this screen, but we can only get this one as base. The double tap dash is making it really hard not to die here. And then this is probably my favorite CD in the game. Yeah, it's just a fake wall. No indicator, same sprite as every other wall. You just gotta know it's a fake wall. And then this Yoku block segment might be one of the worst in the series. We're gonna have to get through it for real as Mega Man, but for now, I can fly! This is also where we make sure to equip the energy saver, because it doubles the time we can fly around and look for CDs. We fly up to this secret room to get 1 CD. Except actually, there's a second CD screen crunched all the way at the top, too. And after one more game of Simon Says, it's time for Astro Man. He's the exact opposite of his fight in Mega Man 8. Instead of being stunlocked to death by his weakness only works half the time because of all his iframes. But once we beat him, there's only one Robot Master left. Dynamo Man stage has the hardest CD to get in the game. It's not that one. That one actually has a ceiling above it that you have to slide through to get, but the GBA screen crunch doesn't show it. It looks like we can get it, but we can't get it yet. I'll show you the hardest CD later, but for now we just gotta grab a freebie and take this path in the ceiling for another one. There are 2 CDs on this screen, but base can only get this one by wave burning through the wall and going around to grab it. And then we have just the worst mini-boss in any Mega Man game. Just the least amount of fun you can have with a mini-boss. He's gooping us from both sides, shooting little blue things left and right. It's a nightmare. And then it's time for the darkness room. You can light your path with the flamethrower, but bro, I still can't see anything. We get 1 more CD for our troubles, and now it's time for the hardest CD. So basically, if we go a little more to the right, there's a CD that spawns mid-air and falls into a pit. You'd have no way of knowing that or reacting to it unless you've played this stage already, but that's neither here nor there. Now, you're not fast enough to catch the CD, unless we make use of a mechanic that isn't really explained too well. You can actually run on these conveyor belts to speed up how fast they go. So we need to run left until it speeds up, and then very quickly jump to the next belt and dash to go faster and dodge this pellet that the little helicopter boy shoots at you. And if you do everything right, yeah, that's the hardest CD in the game! For base. There's still a harder CD for Mega Man, but we don't have to think about that yet. For now, let's focus on the hardest boss in the game. You aren't able to go to this stage unless you've beaten Astro Man, so they thought it would be fun to make a boss super overpowered, but have all his attacks countered by Astro Man's weapon. Which sounds fun in theory, but if you aim copy vision wrong, you miss out on all your damage, or if you don't know how the fight works, you still end up taking a bunch of free damage, and even with all that, he's also the second boss in the series that can heal himself. So you gotta use more copy vision to stop his heal, but I like to switch to Ice Wall to save energy, because if you die and you're out of copy vision, you're fucked. You're just fucked. But anyway, with all that in mind, and with enough practice, and while praying to God he doesn't heal a second or third time, we beat Dynamo Man, and that's all 8 stages down. Now I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we've got every CD we wanted for our base route. The bad news is we're still missing over half. How is that possible? I mean, yeah, we saw some we couldn't get, but over 50? And the other bad news is we still have the final 3 King stages to go through, and they don't have CDs in them. They're just pain. Listen, I already made a video on Mega Man and Bass in full, and if you want to hear my entire list of complaints, along with my honest first-time review of the game, along with some goofy memes and animations and other fun stuff, go watch it. But rather than repeat everything I already said in that video, let me just give you the Spark Notes version of the castle stages. Stage 1 has the worst enemies in the game, from the invincible monkeys to rows and rows of lightning wall guys, invisible spikes, which are even worse on the GBA version, and then the boss you have to fight over a lava pit while another monkey throws doo-doo at you. Stage 2 has a pair of tanks that take forever to kill, and one you fight over a bottomless pit while it spams you with flashbangs to physically blind you while you try not to fall into said pit. And Stage 3's king fight starts with a glorified cutscene while you wait for Proto Man to show up and save you, which gets even harder in Phase 2 unless you know how to cheese it, and then it gets even harder in Phase 3 with an off-screen hitbox you can't even reach without a super precise double dash jump, and if you get a game over in any of these fights, fights, the checkpoint sends you back to the start of the tank bosses for some reason, because that stage 3 doesn't even count as stage 3 because the real stage 3 is a super long 10-minute boss rematch section covered in spikes, death pits, and ended with the worst Wily Machine fight ever. Like, even worse than the one in 7, and once again, if you die, the checkpoint is at the start of the level. So yeah, we do all that. Farm up the remaining screws for the rest of the upgrades in Auto Shop, and that's Base's playthrough 100% cleared! Overall, not too bad, but like I said, the base playthrough was the easy one. Mega Man's route is where the real nightmare begins, so let's hop right into it! This route is exactly the same at the start. We can't get any CDs in the intro stage yet, and then we go through Cold Man, Burner Man, and Pirate Man in that order. You can kind of think of this section as a prologue for Mega Man's run. There's a few CDs we can get in Cold Man by taking these extra sliding paths, but there's absolutely none in Burner Man and Pirate Man we haven't already grabbed. I tried to think if there's a better route where we grab Ground Man's weapon before Cold Man's stage so we can open up these ice blocks for a few CDs, but no matter what we do, we have to clear 3 stages to get the next row of upgrades from Auto Shop, and then revisit those stages after we get Rush Search. It works just like the Rush Search from Mega Man 7, but instead of giving us permanent upgrades and memorable secret location, it gives us trash! Okay, the CDs aren't trash, the lore is fun, I'm just bitter. And I'll show you exactly why, starting with Ground Man stage. Oh, don't forget, we gotta buy another spike guard too. We grab this CD, which I forgot to mention earlier. It looks like you have to slide to your death, but there's, I guess, a wall, another platform beneath the sand, so we're fine. And then we get to do our first search, right where this Met was. Rush can find CDs even if he lands on the spikes, but if he gets hit by an enemy, it cancels it. More on that later. Some spots are more precise than others, like this one is inside this hole, but we gotta be on just the right spot or Rush will prank us. Which wouldn't be a problem, but Rush has his own limited energy bar, so we gotta make sure we fill it whenever we can because we've got a lot more digging to do. Past the caterpillar and into the giant room. I really like damage boosting past these Joes, but my health is getting kinda low. Luckily, we bought one other upgrade from the shop I forgot to mention. Eddie! He's our only form of on-demand healing in the game. Did you notice there's no E-tanks in this game? It's pretty messed up, but Eddie helps. Sometimes. And then we're back to the puzzle room, except this time we carefully follow the normal path and use our spike guard to get the other CD. Unfortunately, those were the easy ones. This stage also contains the actual hardest CD to get in the game. So I glossed over this room in the base run because he can double jump and fly over any obstacle. But boy are there obstacles! You see, the floor is constantly getting dug out by these infinitely spawning mole worms. So the devs thought, hey, you know what would be fun? Let's put a CD in the ground with the infinitely spawning mole worms. And also, let's put a Sniper Joe there too, why not? F it. If the mole digs away the block the CD is in, no CD. If Rush gets hurt by a mole while searching for the CD, no CD. So we just need to protect Rush and kill the mole until he gets the CD. But to make matters worse, we can't switch weapons while Rush is out, so while it'd be really easy to just flamethrower the moles as they spawn, we have to instead hit them with 3 precise lemons during their jump arc. This one is just unfair. The best setup I could figure out is killing the Joe with Wave Burner, jumping over, killing the mole on spawn, doing a jumping Rush search, and then pause buffering to make sure I don't miss those crucial lemons. And even then, you know what, let me just roll the clip.
Watch and pog, chat. Just can't walk too close to this Joe or else the worm behind him will spawn. Do a little pause buffering, because if I don't kill this mole, it's GG. But we killed it, so it's fine. It's not fine! No! Ah! It's technically still doable, I want to say. What, Rush? Oh no, you piece of shit! I feel like I might be too close, but maybe not. What? Okay. Hold on. I have to get over to him. It's right there. We got it. Let's go. Oh my god, I'm a gamer. I promise you I'm a gamer.
And that's the hardest CD out of the way, which means the rest of the game is smooth sailing. Well, okay, not smooth sailing. You still have to beat Mega Man and Base. It's sailing. Just sailing. Next is Tang Man. We need to search at the end of the auto-scroller section and at the top left of the big room. Mega Man can't fly around though, so he needs to take the ice wall bus to get up there. And then while Base took the top path, Mega Man's gonna take the bottom one because there's a CD right here on this podium. Then there's another Protect Your Dog CD here, but tellies are much easier than moles, so no complaints here. And Joe's got this last one. Mega Man stage wasn't too bad, but Magic Man stage is gonna be rough. Remember how there was that secret at the start of Clown Man stage in Mega Man 8 that gives you an extra life? This one's way less cool. While Base was able to skip all these trains, Mega Man can't, especially this little spike platform which has a CD in it. And while Base was able to skip Freddy Fazbear, Mega Man can't. Those lunatics actually put a CD here! Half the battle is making sure he doesn't show Rush what happened in 1987. And the other half of the battle is not getting knocked into the next room loading a checkpoint. But we get it eventually. There's another one at the top of this room where a Lego Man left it, and one in front of this train. Rush, watch out! Rush, oh god! Although I hate Rush Search, he's a good boy for risking his life for the cause. Now remember how there was a hidden CD inside this little house? Well, there's another one, 2 feet away from it. You just need Rush Search. And that's the last one before Magic Man. His fight is still baloney, but compared to the stage we've had to do twice now, I'll take it. And that's 6 stages cleared again, which means Auto Shop has all his upgrades available. We can farm the bonus stage for any extra screws we want because at this point we need Energy Saver for all the rush searching we still gotta do. And there's also CD Finder, which shows a little sparkle where we need to search. I have a Google Doc showing me where each CD is, but this definitely makes it easier pinpointing exactly where we need to dig. At this point, we could have also gotten the comm system, which lets us talk to Roll. She normally gives you little fun facts and tips about the stage you're in, but if you also buy the CD counter, she'll tell you how many CDs are left in the stage. Just not where they are, but we're fine without it. Our next CD in Astro Man is guarded by another Joe. And then after Simon Saysing again, there's a slide CD we can grab here, and one underneath the goof ass on the next screen, and one at the top of this screen barely noticeable on the GBA. Funnily enough, the CD Finder does not show CDs that are above ground. So even with it, there's no indicator of the CD we got here earlier as base. Man, I was having so much fun looking for CDs, I forgot I have to do this ridiculous Yoku Block segment. But once we do it and beat Astro Man again, we're looking good. At least until I see Dynamo Man's freaking face again! We get the slide CD I mentioned earlier, just gotta be careful not to shoot this block or it locks us out. We get a couple normal rush searches to do, and then a spiky rush search to do, and then a spiky slide to do. Not really sure, but I think Dynamo Man is trying to tell us something. Another search gives us a small buffer before we fight the worst mini-boss in the game again, and then there's one in the dark room and one last one next to the Smet after the dark room. Now, I will say the Dynamo Man fight is one of the only ones that I think is easier as Mega Man, just because there's a couple attacks you can slide under. Dynamo Man's easier and whichever boss you start with because of the charge shot. I mean, the fight's still rough, but just a little easier. And that's all the stages done as Mega Man, and we're sitting at 80 CDs. I can see the finish line, you guys. It's time for our victory lap. Let's start by going back to where it all began, the intro stage. Yeah, remember when I said there were no CDs here at the start of the video? I just did that for dramatic irony. Of course there are CDs here, you just need f***ing Rush Search for them. And then we gotta protect Rush from drills, which is completely RNG because sometimes a drill will just spawn underneath him and bro, that's crazy! And then Joe's got the last one. So now we can leave. You can rematch the Jello Devil? Yeah, I guess I forgot to buy the exit part before we started doing these revisits. Make sure to grab that, and then it's back to Cold Man. 3 times we've been here, and each time these ice blocks have taunted us. Hand it over, cringe lords! There's also 2 searches to do here, and that's Cold Man complete. Back to Burger Man. Turns out this extra nothingness spot had a CD in it. And turns out the monkeys were holding out on us too. Okay, so remember when I said this was our victory lap? There's technically one more tough CD to get. So what if you took the moles from the Ground Man CD and replaced them with birds? Yeah, that's this one. Also, you have to call Rush while sliding to land on the right spot, which is something I didn't even know you could do, but you have to for this one. Don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as the Ground Man CD, but still pretty annoying the way the birds just spawn randomly and you have to hope they don't hit your dog. And there's one final hidden screen right after that we need to break an ice block to get. And we're done. Just kidding, there's also one hidden in this wall with no indicator. That's awesome, that's crazy, that's awesome. There's one last one here, and now we can exit and go grab our final 5 CDs. I like saving Pirate Man for last because it makes me feel like Monkey D. Luffy looking for the One Piece. But instead of treasure, the One Piece is a compact disc with Mega Man fun facts on it. We need Wave Burner to push a mine out of the way for this one, and we gotta search for this one right below where one was earlier. There's one here here, but it's guarded by Duff McWhalen. But we just have to stand far enough to the right, otherwise he'll infinitely spawn on top of Rush while searching. And here we are. The final room, the final treasure chest, the final piece! Can we get more CDs? CDs, oh, oh, oh. And that's it, everybody! All 100 CDs painstakingly collected in Mega Man and Bass. For a true 100%, we still have to farm up all the upgrades, beat the castle stages, which are even harder as Mega Man, and see his version of the end credits. It takes another hour or so, but compared to finding all the CDs, it's a cakewalk. And look at how happy Dr. Light is! Yippee! These CDs are awesome. They show new pixel art, as well as lore and fun facts for each classic character, and the official translation is just incredible. If you want to see what's on those CDs, as well as my live reaction, click this video. And thanks so much for watching! I've got more Mega Man videos just like this one, so make sure you subscribe. And I want to give a huge thanks to my channel members for their extra support. You can become a Mega Chad today by clicking the join button. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time, everybody.